Of course, we understand the risks, and that's why this morning you'll hear the Israeli side make its case. Yesterday, we heard the South African side, and unfortunately, the South African government has chosen to become the spokespeople and the legal representatives of Hamas, and they're parroting the Hamas line. We'll present our case this morning. I think you'll hear a robust case based on international law. I mean, ultimately, the accusation of genocide is ludicrous. It's offensive. It's wrong, as both the American and British governments have said, as other Western governments have said. This case has no merit.
Look, you've just had the US Secretary of State in Tel Aviv for talks as well. Were they fruitless, or would you say there was any progress made in trying to find what everybody wants, what Israel wants ultimately as well, which is peace in the region?
Well, it has to be understood that peace will be achieved when we've defeated Hamas, because Hamas is the most brutal and ferocious and horrific enemy of peace. There was a ceasefire in place on October 6th. That didn't stop Hamas from attacking, crossing the border, invading our country with its army of terror, and brutally murdering 1,200 people. And you know as well as I do what sort of things they did. They beheaded, they raped, they massacred, they burned people alive. Terrible, terrible crimes against humanity. And we have to defeat Hamas. And when we defeat this most extreme enemy of peace, I think that'll be good for Israelis, that'll be good for Palestinians too, because the Gazans deserve better than this terrible Hamas regime, terror regime that has brought them, in the 16 years it's been in power, it's only brought them bloodshed and poverty and misery.
Ambassador, there are still broader concerns about an escalation of this conflict. And overnight, we saw Western attacks on Houthi rebels that have been targeting shipping lanes. The links are meant to be to Iran. Can you just comment on what happens from here? Do you think there will be some escalation into a broader conflict? Is that still a real threat?
I hope not, and I hope you'll see now the Houthis cease their attacks on international shipping. I mean, as you've reported on CNBC, some 12% of global trade goes through the Red Sea and through the Suez Canal. And the Houthis, supported by Iran, were blocking that and causing great problems for many countries. I know there was diplomatic pressure on Iran to rein in the Houthis. Apparently, that wasn't working. They were warned weeks ago. There were defensive actions taken against their attacks, and now targets of the Houthis have been hit. They have to understand that you don't act as international pirates. If you do, there are consequences.